Greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. Let's get started with today's video. We're talking about intuition, how to hijack your intuition, how to become highly intuitive and understand what's really going on. Are these messages, are these synchronicities, are these signs? What's really going on here, okay? Now, the main thing to understand about your intuition is you got to listen. And it's not just a listening with your ears, it's a full body listening. So sometimes you'll notice like goosebumps or pores on your skin being affected, or perhaps even a little tingle or a twitch in my body. Like I notice that I get a lot of bodily symptoms at times too, and not necessarily I'm hearing something, even though I'm more so a clairaudient neo-shaman. I do sometimes also experience intuition through just my body naturally reacting. Have you ever been in an environment and then it feels heavy, or you feel cold hands and feet, or you suddenly feel like a temperature change very quickly? These are signs of spiritual interference, okay? So you want to really start to understand what's going on, right? What's really going on? What's really going on, right? And that's one of the questions that a lot of people have when they're trying to access their gut instinct or their intuition. So as above, so below, right? So that means that whatever you feed yourself in terms of your gut, okay, if you change your diet, you're going to change your intuition. Why is that? Because once your gut health is absolutely solid, you're taking probiotics, you're really looking after your digestion. I've had some stomach issues recently, so it's been reminding me to pay attention to my gut health again. Now, one thing that I really love exploring is how intuitive people, right? So unfortunately, this physical world, this incarnation, this matrix, wants to gaslight our intuition like 24/7, okay? They're always gonna make us doubt ourselves, question ourselves, make us more hesitant in terms of our decision making, okay? However, the more you leave it, right? There's this implementation velocity, right? So the longer you wait between intuition and taking that action, the more doubt is going to be created. But if you lessen that gap between intuition and action, you're now tapped in, you're collapsing timelines now. This is really important to note. Honor the first signal of the intuition. Maybe it's just giving you like one word, like speak or leave or move, right? Go with that. Go with that. If you feel uncomfortable in an environment, you feel a heavy sinking feeling, there's probably a chance to leave, right? Or change something around, maybe drink some water, right? You know, based on your own neurology, your physiology, and your electromagnetism. What if you decided from tomorrow, I'm gonna be the most intuitive person on planet Earth? What if you made it competitive for your own ego to grasp that concept? And what if you started to speak to yourself like, why does intuition flow naturally to me? Why is intuition like my birthright? How come intuition happens so organically for someone like me? Why is intuition so effortless for me to access? Why is intuition a natural part of my lifestyle and life? Okay, so you start giving yourself these affirmations throughout the day. Remember, intuition doesn't need your mind's permission to be correct. Okay, your mind can lie to you, can create all sorts of fabrications and stories, but once you drop into the heart, you will start to know and feel truth through your whole body. There will be a time in the future where we will feel so embodied. When there's truth, we will know. So it'll ring through our whole systems. Like, for instance, I'll tell you how the Matrix gaslights you like this. Let's say you're like, I feel like it's a no, right? They'll be like, oh, but you're feeling? Well, feelings aren't facts, right? Feeling shifts reality, right? It comes from the thoughts, then it creates the emotion, then you take an action with it. If it feels like a no, they'll call you flaky. And if it feels like a yes, they'll say you're impulsive. Why are you doing that decision so quickly? Why did you rush into this thing, right? This is how this gaslighting happens. And I just want you to catch it. As Primal Sutra adepts, or even just the ninja watchers, the participants, if you guys understand that this path is greater than myself, and you actually tap into your interconnectedness and you start to live with that in mind, you'll start to notice all these synchronicities coming through. Because what is a synchronicity? A synchronicity is a reminder of oneness. Okay, guys? That everything is the same. So of course you're gonna see it. If it's in your mind, it's in your reality, right? Try this exercise before you go to sleep. Just say, I won't think of a ladder tonight. I won't think of a ladder. I won't think of a ladder. I won't think of a ladder, right? Guess what you're thinking about? A ladder. And in that next few days or a week, you'll be somehow in your timeline, you'll see a ladder, or you'll climb a ladder, or a ladder will show up on TV. Something like this will happen. And this is such a powerful protocol because it proves to your own mind how thoughts shape reality. So do some guessing games with your friends, right? Once in a while. I wonder what color that person wore today. Let me see if I can tune into their aura and just figure it out, right? Right? And then you'll get some colors showing up in your mind. Now, this isn't going to be 100% accurate, obviously, and there's different ways to muscle test, of course, as you know, kinesiology. I've noticed that oftentimes my guides speak to me through music or songs. So anytime I'm listening in a car or on the radio, or I'm listening to something, or on Spotify I'm listening to something, it'll always pivot me to a specific song that absolutely aligns me to that very specific moment, right? Now, if I had a normie-based thinking, I'd just be like, yeah, but these are just coincidences. These are just songs, so what, right? How is this gonna help my life? So, you see how you downplay yourself and this gift, which is actually a very ancient primal gift, right? It's a primal tech, if you think about it, right? Tapping into your instinct, your intuition, that core, essence of you, that aspect of you connecting to your higher self, right? So if you distance yourself from that and you're like, that stuff is hogwash anyway, who cares about that stuff? You're just downplaying your own intuition at that time. You're creating the belief system that intuition is something lower than intellect, or any other faculty of the mind, body, spirit complex, right? So you want to create a holistic approach to being more intuitive. And oftentimes, you can do this very simple exercise. Try this right now. Tune into your heart space. And say something that's a lie, like a complete lie. Okay? I'm a woman, right? For some people who are very intuitive, they'll feel a little resistance. They'll feel a tension. They'll feel a little clench. Okay? Knowing that that is absolutely not true. Why are you saying that? Okay? So there'll be an extra kind of resistance built, and then that resistance stacks into a psychic resistance. Because we're like, I don't want to think about that. I don't want to do that, right? The more you're like, whatever you resist will persist, right? So the more you're like, I don't want to do this thing. This is a bad habit, right? Why are you calling it a bad habit? Just call it a habit, right? The more you label something as negative, the more resistance you're creating towards it. You're not neutralizing it, right? So this is the thing. Hand over the heart. Now say something that's 100% true. I have a nose. Just feel the difference of those two. Say a lie and then say a truth. It could be anything, okay? And once you tap into this, you'll begin to understand that if you train this, do it over a week, okay? And notice if you're improving each week. Are you tapping in each week more, greater? So having a good intuition gives you a very good radar, right? You're able to sense when things just aren't the way that they seem. It's very interesting that we are this upward spiral gang, because the spiral is actually a symbol which describes intuitive thought, because intuition goes inwards like this, right? Like a spiral. We have to oftentimes get centered in order for us to receive the signals, right? Antenna going up. I've also noticed, and this is from my own experiments, of course, I'm kind of like a mystic mad scientist, you could say, with all of this stuff. People pleasing or very strong superego moments where you have to protect yourself in a social circumstance seems to lower. So people pleasing actually stifles and blocks your intuition. How do I know this? I used to be a people pleaser. Okay? Another thing to notice is your intuition lives in your fascia, in your connective tissue. Okay? Not a lot of people know this tech, but it's very important for you to notice the tension in your physical body and regularly get rid of it using yoga, stretching, something, right? Way to shake your body, put water on your body as you take a shower, right? All these different things are going to help you access this deeper intuition. And remember, guys, the pineal gland doesn't create intuition, okay? It just decodes it. So it's almost like a pattern recognition software for intuition. So if you sharpen your third eye and you activate your third eye, obviously work in order in terms of all your chakras. However, really important to activate your third eye and get you tapped in. Sometimes when I do alternate nostril breathing, I'll take two of my fingers and I'll pulse it towards the third eye. So there's pressure there, and oftentimes that helps me. Basically creating an internal harmony, right? One of my guides, shout out to him, he's my solar plexus chakra guide, Janus, the Roman god of doorways, okay? Now, he's taught me the intuition happens in the threshold spaces, in the liminal spaces, and he's a master of this. Oh, let's say you just got your heart broken, you go for a walk, or something very extreme happens and you do something else to shift that energy around. That's a liminal space. Or like sleep and wake, between sleep and wake, or when you just wake up from sleep, you know, you get those hypnopompic, hypnagogic, like little light floaty things. So that's also a time where intuition is active, right? That means the intuition is the most loudest in liminal spaces or thresholds, okay? So trance states, moments when we get completely absorbed, right? There's like a balance of the physical and metaphysical world. That's when the intuition really kicks in. Because think about it like this, animals never lose it, right? There's certain animals that just naturally track their environment, or they know what to walk towards or go against, or you know how there's flight patterns for birds, or like there's certain things that make certain worms go towards the light, right? There's this organic, intuitive mode, which is more instinctual in a certain sense, but animals never lose their intuition, okay? But also, this is why we're Primal Sutra. We get that understanding of the primordial, Om. Another thing that Janus taught me is the intuition is precognitive. Okay, it's precognitive. So it was there way before, right back in the day. So this tells you Janus's great saying, memento futurum. I've heard this way back when I first started working with Janus. Memento futurum means remember the future. And you know what remembering the future is? It's intuition. Okay, guys? Are we getting the light bulbs flashing? So remembering the future brings it into the now. Okay? We have a spiritual amnesia, all of us. We forgot our spiritual gifts. When we came into this incarnation, we forgot all of it. And now it's time to rekindle that fire, that flame, to understand that no, I have a choice in this. I have a ruthless determinism, right, towards understanding this intuition thing. The original word for intuition, intuere, means to contemplate or to look upon. It doesn't mean to feel, it doesn't mean gut feelings, it doesn't mean any of that. So if we look at the original word, so the real word means I'm here to gaze into the divine. From that word origin, it means watching divinity. So once you observe divinity and you get more conscious of it, of course your intuition is going to boost. The way that I want you to think about this, guys, is that imagine that if logic was a guard dog, intuition would be a wolf. Okay? So the intuition is just ruthless. It's going to tell it like it is. It's just going to give you and it's not going to speak to you very clearly. It's not going to write you an essay, okay? What it's going to be doing is a little whisper, a little gentle nudge here and there, a little clue that you get, almost like a scavenger hunt at times. This kind of stuff, right? So just be open to those situations. And you can always test it with yourself. Is this accurate for me? Is this effective for me, right? You can always test it. So think about some of these things, and if you need further advancement, more attunement in terms of this, we have a mystery school, Primal Sutra mysteryschool.com. Go shoot me a message. Let's see if you can apply and watch all of our old recordings or old channelings. There's also a Janusz channeling there if you want to tap into those. Get all of the downloads, the lessons, the great gnosis that is there available for you guys, because this really is a direct experience, right? I'm not one of those teachers that's going to give you a course syllabus in a book, but what you will be getting is something very structured in terms of your own spiritual path working, which is what we do is we slowly start to build up our spiritual team and our spiritual theme, okay? These two are the starting points for your path. Let's get it today. Upward Spiral Gang, thank you so much for tapping in. Let's win today, okay? To infinity and beyond. Let's get it. Upward Spiral. Boom.